Today, our quest to highlight more arts and culture heritage sites around the country has brought us to the Mpangeni Arts and Culture History Museum. Welcome to the Art Bulletin, and thank you so very much for staying with us. The 2012-2013 Edward Ruiz Mentorship recipient, Jerry Khaikane of the Market Photo Workshop opened his first solo exhibition on Wednesday. The collection of photos is titled Marang a Letsatsi, which is Setswana for sun rays.
I think he's a deserving photographer because I think he's very sincere. His work deals with the hustle of everyday workers trying to make a living through surface and underground mining, most of it illegal. And that means that it's a very interesting subject matter. And it takes a photographer that has got a convincing understanding to speak to these guys, to get them to work with them. So I think he becomes a really deserving photographer in that sense, that he's able to speak to people, engage with people, and get great pictures out of them.
On Wednesday evening, Ila Thompson hosted the launch of 2 books by 2 individuals who are significant to our art and social landscapes. 5 Lives at Noon by Brent Meersman and Panorama by Pieter Dirk-Eys.
The responses from the readers have been tremendous and very varied. A lot of people find that period particularly painful to read about, but they also understand and appreciate just the enormous enthusiasm, the way that we finally saw liberation at hand, the way that we had come out of the darkness of the 1980s. So there were 2 currents at that time, which makes it particularly complex and interesting.
Panorama is set on Robben Island with a full view of Table Mountain, which is the panorama, but very much a story that identifies with the reader because it's not about the great gods of democracy, it's about the people who actually were around them at the same time.
The Klaus Malvern Wine Estate in Stellenbosch has been transformed into a one-stop wonder of artistic expressions. An exclusive group exhibition titled A Void in the Landscape was unveiled last week.
The title of the exhibition, A Void in the Landscape, is inspired by social perceptions of nature and how these perceptions stand in contrast to artistic representations of the natural environment. World-renowned land artist Strydom van der Merwe is joined by sculptors Wilmer Cruz, Marco Cianfanelli and Gordon Frout, who add aesthetic appeal and conversation pieces to the display. The unique group expose is on display until the end of January 2014.
The Melody Music Project has produced a 4-wind ensemble well known for its captivating sounds, and this year's program includes 5 African songs. The ensemble will be directed by Nimrod Moloto when they perform this afternoon at 3 p.m.
And this performance comprises of repertoire from Mozart to Bach. Young singers actually will be singing, young soloists. This is a choir, vivacious choir, and with the director Nomthandazo Solomon, who will be conducting the choir as well. And they will be doing arias from Mozart, operas, and will be doing Bach, will be doing Vangelis as well. So the program is quite wide, and it's also got 5 African songs by Mzilikazi Khumalo.
Today, South Africa's young poets will battle it out and bring their best words forward in the annual National Poetry Challenge hosted by Drama for Life. The theme for this year's challenge is man, woman. Any queries?
This year we're doing 6 different regions, 5 different provinces, and we're flying everybody up here for the national finals. So it's really grown, and each year it deals with a different topic, a different theme, but always around sex, HIV/AIDS, relationships, stigmas, taboos, that kind of thing.
I thought I could relate to the theme of this year's Lover and Another, and I was like, okay, so now we have to write about women, men, and other queries, and I was like, okay, fine. Let me write, as a lesbian woman living in South Africa, there's a lot of issues that still need to be addressed, so let's just do this.
SA's most respected percussionist Tlale Makhene is getting ready for his once-off performance with German electronic musician Bernd Friedman. Their performance takes place tomorrow night at the Goethe Institute Auditorium in Johannesburg. Currently on his sub-Saharan tour, Bernd Friedman is a pioneer of German electronic music and the head of Non-Place Records. Friedman is also one half of space jazz duo Flanger and one of the most sought-after producers and composers in Germany. Tomorrow evening, he will team up with South African percussion legend Tlale Makhene for what the Goethe Institute describes as a feast of rhythmic experimentation that will explore the boundaries between electric and acoustic, traditional and experimental, texture and melody. The concert, which begins at 18:30, is titled Live and admission is free. Legendary music practitioner Koloi Libona was laid to rest on Thursday at the Nina Park Cemetery by family, friends and fellow music industry players. The guitarist, songwriter and producer's extensive contribution to the industry, which includes work on Paul Simon's Graceland, is described as timeless.
What drew people to him was just his steadfastness in recognizing that, number one, African culture is marginalized and that it needed all the support that he could give it. So I think that he was a producer, fine ears, and he was also somebody that knew everything about the industry. If ever I wanted to know something about what was happening in the music industry, I would ask Koloi about it. He used to visit, and I used to think, this is crazy, you know. The guy Khana Meshlo, but he knows everything. He was very well informed about a lot of things.
Visual artist Vivienne Kola is this year's winner of the Lavelle Gallery 2013 Artist Competition Group Show. Kola will exhibit his professional solo exhibition next year in Cape Town at the Lavelle Gallery.
I think it's a great opportunity. I believe it's going to do great things for my career. The competition is a stepping stone, kind of fast-tracking you to where you would like your career to be. I use a lot of found objects, which of course has their own story. And their own visual impact, and of course their own understanding. I try not to make my work too highfalutin. I try to include an understanding for the everyday man as well as the educated.
And that's all the arts news we have for you from the Empangeni Art and Culture History Museum. Do make sure you keep in touch with us and let us know what's happening in and around your art circles by emailing the Art Bulletin at sabc.co.za. You can also like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. Until tomorrow morning, it's a goodbye from us.